Hi everyone, my name's Haley Jones. Welcome to our Connect demo. Super glad you're here. I have the amazing Paul Tuch from Canada as my help and sidekick today. A few notes before we get started. Number one, this is being recorded, so we will follow up with a video after it's done. Number two, please post your questions in the question box. Paul will be monitoring those. He will interrupt me as I'm doing the demo and shout out some questions, and or he will try to just respond to you as the questions come in. If for some reason we do not get to your question live in the demo today, we will follow up with answers following the demo. I think are there other housekeeping items I'm forgetting? I got it? Okay. Okay. All right. With that, I am going to share a screen and we will get started. Um, yeah. Here we are. This is our new-ish Connect, now that we finally retired Music Connect. This is what you see when you first log in. And I am just going to move a couple things out of my way here. Number one, the main navigation for Connect is here on the left-hand side. And then we have some data controls here at the top. Who should we use as I'll just pick someone. How about Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny's kind of fun. Data controls are here at the top. So I'm going to start by showing you this. We have put in a number of dynamic date ranges for you to choose from, or you can choose a custom date range. I will first say that here we are, March 10th. This is showing you we have data loaded in through March 8th, and that's pretty typical. We tend to run 2 days behind. But again, you can choose from any of these date ranges here, or you can just come in and do fun things like type in whichever date you're hoping for, hit apply changes. I'm going to leave this on the United States, but I also want to point out a primary feature in our new Connect is that we have country level breakouts for over 60 countries so that you could filter anything on this page for any of those countries. We have a little bit more granularity in the US and Canada than we do worldwide. So one of those pieces of granularity is we also have market level data in the US and Canada. So you're also able to just filter everything on this page and in the reports based on any of the markets in the US or Canada. I'll also point out this, the data controls. There are lots of things that some people would like to have in every single report, such as activity to date or year to date. You can choose that here. If you are an indie and you're super focused on sales, physical sales, I mean, there are a number of views that you can choose here. And I feel like a lot of people like to see what people are buying and at which store strata. So I'm going to leave this set here, but I also will show you can move these around based on the view you would like in your reports. So we're looking at year to date for Bad Bunny. We're in the US. Um, Here are the equivalencies. So you can see year to date, 2.1 million equivalencies. Activity to date in this platform today goes back to week 1, 2014 for the US and Canada, week 1, 2019 worldwide. So year to date for Bad Bunny, streams, we have 2.2 billion streams. Album sales, we have 233,000 album sales. You can see almost 90% of those albums are physical rather than digital. Digital song sales are here, and here are two numbers for radio airplay. There are spins. This will be terrestrial radio airplay in the US. This is another piece of granularity we only have in the US and Canada. And there are spins, the number of times radio played Bad Bunny. Audience will be more of a reach number. This comes directly from the ratings of the radio station. So 481 million people have heard Bad Bunny on these 192,000 spins. There are a number of ways to get a trend report out of Connect. This is one of them. We are looking at weekly streams and we're looking at the commercial model for Bad Bunny. So the commercial model will be ad supported versus premium streams. We definitely have daily granularity here. So you can see this is probably right around the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny has a real spike in consumption. But you can also pull up album sales here. And when you pull up album sales, there'll be a number of different views. This is the store strata breakout. So for those of you who are familiar, e-com will be like Amazon, Apple, mass market, big box retailers, independent record stores, exactly what it sounds like. Direct to consumer means from an artist's website or a fulfillment house, and venue sales we currently use at venue. Um,
Haley, we had a question about album equivalents and the fact that they're higher now than they used to be on the old platform. Do you want to go over that?
I'll let you answer that.
Oh, okay. So basically, a couple of things. Well, the major reason that album equivalents are higher is because the formula has changed for album equivalents, where we used to use 1,250 premium streams would equal one album, and 3,750 ad-supported streams would equal one album. Now it's 1,000 premium streams equaling one album and 2,500 ad-supported streams. And since the majority of the streams are generally coming from premium streams, that would be why the album equivalents are higher now.
And
And
I also will use this opportunity to show you the knowledge base is here in our platform. There was a little question mark that I clicked. Anytime you have a question, if you are already a subscriber, you are more than welcome to click this little question mark. We can type in something like equivalencies and you will get far more information here on the equivalencies. And then you can close the knowledge base with the X. Thank you, Paul. I pulled up radio airplay here again. So this is radio airplay for Bad Bunny. Notice when you're looking at spins or audience, you will also have another piece pop up. And this will show you how many of these spins are rolling up to which Billboard chart. Notice there are some formats here that are not necessarily a Billboard chart. So you'll notice where it doesn't say Billboard right behind it, that means Classic Hits is not necessarily a Billboard chart, but there is definitely a radio format called Classic Hits. And Classic Hits, interestingly, is actually playing Bad Bunny. Um,
we actually had a question about maybe using a lesser known artist
sure,
just to
we can
see
do
what
that.
the platform offers for grassroots artists.
Sure. Do you have a suggestion for me?
I don't actually, but okay.
Let's see. How about St. Paul and the Broken Bones? Because that's one of my favorites. And you can, but is it? Let's use. Oh, let's use Black Pumas. How's that? Because that's also one of my favorites. So we're looking at an artist dash here, by the way. So again, everything that I've already gone over, we're still looking at year to date. We're still in the US. And now I'm in the activity over time module. Um, and again, I was showing you how you can bounce around from all of these different views. I'm going to jump to the grid view because the grid view will show you everything in one report. So we had asked for weekly. You also are able to get daily granularity here. Total streams by week. This number looks small because this is a partial week. Total streams are here. Here's your equivalencies. Here are your digital song sales and your album sales. But notice when you pull these carets down, you'll get more information. So far this week, the Black Pumas have sold 89 albums. 54 of them were sold at ecom, and there were 4 CDs and 45 pieces of vinyl and 5 digital albums sold for for the Black Pumas. You'll get the same breakout views here for streams. So again, how many are on demand, how many are programmed, how many are ad supported, how many are premium. When you continue breaking it down, you'll see audio and video. So when you download this to Excel, you will get all of those that breakouts in your report. So one way to get a trend report is here. I'm going to show you the next module, and the next module is going to be worldwide consumption for black pumas.
Before you go forward, we had a couple questions about DSP level data on the platform.
Of course. One of the things that separates Luminate from other data providers is that we have first-party data. So we're not scraping the internet anywhere for any consumption. We actually have get first-party data, so directly from Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Amazon, etc. In our agreements with the DSPs, with many DSPs, they ask that we only share that level of granularity with content owners. So it's doable, but it's not in this account, and it's definitely a permissioned piece of access. The good news is because of our first party data, the data is actually considered verified by the time we platform it here. All right, so was there another question, Paul, before we?
Well, I know you had just talked about showing album sales,
Yep.
but we did have a question about how you could see physical sales for a select period of time across any configuration. So I think you were going over the grid for streams particularly, but maybe you want to show the grid for album.
Album sales. Oh, I thought I did that. Here. So again, we're in the US, but you can change this to any location you'd like. Now, remember, I only have album sales in the US or Canada. But here is the configuration. So at Ecom, um, so far this week, the Black Pumas have sold 89 albums. 54 of them were at Ecom, 45 CDs, or excuse me, 45 pieces of vinyl, 4 CDs, and 5 digital albums. 16 sold at mass market, 13 at independent record stores, and you'll have all of those same breakout views available. Does
And
that answer?
using the data controls, you could actually pick and choose specifically. So if you want to leave out digital, you can leave out digital. If you only want to look at vinyl sales, you can look at vinyl sales.
Yeah. And again, if you like, you can add activity to date in every single report on this, on the homepage here. All right, so here, activity by location. This is fun. Um, as I mentioned early in the demo, we have a breakout view for over 60 countries. We may still, you can see, by the way, you can see which countries we have a breakout view for in blue. The countries we're not yet breaking out are those in gray. That doesn't mean that we're not actually getting streams from some of these places in gray. We could be, and if we are, they will go into the others bucket. So year to date, in whichever time frame we've chosen here, there were 4.6 million streams for the Black Pumas, cumulative total of all of the places in gray here. Otherwise, you can see the US is their best market year to date, followed by Brazil, France, the UK, and Germany. Again, here I'm going to go to the grid view, and the grid view is going to break out every single country. And notice again, remember I said I have more granularity in the US and Canada. So you'll see these album sales in the US, the radio airplay in the US, and when we get down to Canada, you'll see these numbers populated here. You're going to have the same breakout views available in every single country. And you can download this report to Excel or CSV right from here. Sorry, I have somebody working on a house next door, so forgive my dog. I am going to toggle markets on because we have so much granularity in the US and Canada. This is a really fun report. Again, we're looking at streams. We're looking at the Black Pumas. We're year to date. You can see their best market is New York, followed by LA, San Francisco, Chicago, and Denver. A lot of people use this report. Obviously, the live music industry, management loves this report. Labels love this report because they use it for marketing. And what a lot of people are looking for here is which markets over index, which markets under index. So if you have an idea of the population, like for me, I look at this and I'm like, oh, Denver is definitely not a top five or number five biggest city in the US. That tells me Denver over indexes for the Black Pumas. So that's fun. I'm going to go to the grid view here, and the grid view is going to break out everything by market. And again, you'll have all of the same breakout views for album sales, for example. So you can see in New York, the Black Pumas sold 76 albums year to date, 38 of them at ecom, 22 of them at independent record stores in New York. And you can see all 22 in New York were vinyl. I also am going to show you that we have radio airplay over here. So if there is anyone on that does radio promo, this is fun because you can sort on any columns here. And again, right away, I see something interesting. For example, the best market for the Black Pumas for radio airplay is Kansas City, yet Kansas City is market number 30 for streaming. So because we have streams chosen here, that's what these rank numbers are going to be. But you can really easily do fun things like have it sort on product sales. And now the rank is going to show you there's Denver. We knew Denver over indexed for streams, but guess what? Denver over indexes. It's the best market for physical sales year to date for the Black Pumas, followed by Austin. And you can download any of these reports to Excel or CSV. How we doing, Paul?
We are good for the moment.
Okay. Here is a discography report. And a discography report, when you're looking at an artist page, a discography report is going to include everything from the Black Pumas. So notice you'll have a tab for albums, you'll have a tab for songs. And you can see, for example, Colors is the best song for the Black Pumas in the US year to date by a lot, by over 50%. But you'll also have streams and all of the same breakout views I've showed you everywhere else for every single song. If I go to albums, here you will see all of the Black Pumas albums, and again, those same breakout views that we've looked at in the rest of the reports here. So again, based on how I've set up in the data availability grid physical, you'll get the same breakout views by album here. Also want to point out some managers and some marketing companies really appreciate this because you can do fun things like, sure, because it's the Black Pumas we're looking at, but depending on your artist, you can choose just a market here, for example, and see what the best song is in that market. So now everything on this page is filtered for Denver. Colors is definitely still the best song. I'm going to switch back. All right, so let's look at an album. I just want to show you how an album report or a song report will be different here on the home page. Number one, I'm going to go into this more details tab to show you that in our new platform, we are also tracking numerous external IDs. So metadata we know is a challenge in our business. So look at all of the external IDs that we have here. I also will point out when you're searching for anything on our platform, notice this ID toggle. You can search for an ISRC, a UPC, a Spotify ID, any ID that we have, and you should get the proper album or song or artist for that matter. Everything here is the same, only we're looking at just the album Black Pumas. So I'm just going to go right to the bottom and show you what's different. Here, where the discography report was, this is where you can see a lot of metadata. So these will be all the songs on this Black Pumas album. Notice you'll see consumption by ISRCs here. And when I tap over to releases, now we're going to show you every single release that is associated with this Black Pumas album and all of the barcodes as soon as it loads. We are as good as the metadata that we have, so sometimes you'll get more information Like here, expanded deluxe version. Um, Not that won't always happen, but oftentimes it does. So you can see, for example, this was a CD release. This was a CD release. And again, don't forget these three dots. You can download anything to Excel or CSV. Questions, Paul?
Going back to the discography in the artist dashboard, we had a
Yes.
question around whether we will have ATD in the future, and I just wanted to mention that you can change the time frame. So if you change the time frame to the beginning of 2014 for North America or the beginning of 2019 worldwide, the data that shows up in the dashboard will be an ATD number.
Got it. Can you add ATD?
Right now, not in the dashboard. There's not a column for that, but that's on the roadmap.
Got it. Okay. Don't forget you can add ATD here too on the roadmap. All right. I am going to keep moving. If that's okay. Here are charts, excuse me. There will be a number of charts available here. I'll point out that you can, if you're only curious about a billboard chart, you can filter out just the billboard charts. Anything else that's not an official billboard chart will be called a Luminate chart, and you can grab that here. If you only are focused on genres, you can come here and you could just choose hip hop, for example, to see only the hip hop charts if that's your area of focus. I will use this moment to show you that we actually have two genre lenses in our new platform, which is a little different than legacy. So if you're already a user, you're used to seeing things based on a billboard chart lens. As we've gone global, we have added a Luminate lens, and really just depends what you're trying to drill down to. Like, for example, I can show you under a billboard lens, under Latin, you can get to regional Mexican using a billboard chart lens. Under Illuminate lens, under Latin, this allows you to drill down to reggaeton. And that will become relevant when I show you how to pull reports. Also thought I'd be able to jam through this, Paul, and I realize I have 5 minutes. Here is the analysis module. The analysis module is an industry report. For anybody thinking strategically, this is a super fun report. We're looking at year to date. We're in the US. Again, you can focus this on Denver or San Francisco or Miami if you'd like to get a sense of what happens by market. But this says there have been 292 billion streams year to date in the US. There have been 17.4 million album sales. Almost 90% of those album sales so far in the US were physical rather than digital. Here's how it trended. And here are the data tables, which, by the way, you can download here with these three dots. This gets more fun when you look at it by genre. So in the US, here are high level genres. And again, you can play with genres here. You can also slice and dice this by release age. If you're curious to look at just new music, how does this look different? Or if you're focused on buying and selling catalogs and you want to look at catalog music, you can do that here. But this is showing you hip hop is the best genre in the US, followed by rock. Rock is on the move. If you're only looking at album sales, you can see rock's actually a little bit bigger than other genres. When you go to the data tables, notice you will see consumption broken out by subgenres as well. And all of the same breakout views that I've showed you for every single report. So again, you want to see albums or CDs or store strata breakout by subgenre, you can do that in this analysis module. I'm going to show you our report builder. You can pull 600,000 reports out of Connect, kind of 6 ways to Sunday. It really just depends what you're trying to accomplish. A trend report is how to follow an artist, an album, or a title over time. So if you're a label and you want to run all of your songs, all of your albums, your entire catalog, you could likely do that here. You're able to choose up to 500 albums, artists, or titles in one trend report. Um, and really, you just go through and follow these bubbles, if you will, and it'll guide you through creating your trend report. A ranked list, on the other hand, is I like to call a ranked list like a chart of your own making. So whether you're looking for bragging rights, if you're in the live music industry and you are in Oklahoma or Oklahoma City, for example, you could choose the best alternative artists in Oklahoma year to date, or you can look at the last year. In a trend report, or excuse me, in a ranked list, you can pull a song report, an album report, or an artist report. A recording will be by ISRC, and a product will be by a barcode. So really depending on the kind of metadata that you're trying to get to. Again, here you just go through and fill out the bubbles. Which time frame do you want? Which location do you want? Um, you can pull this for any country. Again, this is really just up to your imagination. You're able to pull up to 50,000 deep. So some people use this even for A&R and choose a short time period. And how do you want to rank your ranked list? You know, you can do it by airplay, by digital song sales, by album sales, or by streams. And then I'll show you this. This is your customization point for Connect. So what do you want to see when you log in? For me, I like the US to be my default landing position, but you can choose global aggregate, or you can choose, if you're in Brazil, you probably just want to see Brazil when you first log in. If you prefer seeing everything through a Billboard chart lens, you can choose a Billboard genre database, or you can also choose Luminate. So again, this is really just about customization. We definitely intend on building this out a little more. And the final thing I'm going to show you, just under a minute left, this is our data availability grid. We try to be very transparent. Um, these are our data providers, and do we have the data loaded in, or when was the last day that we loaded in? You can look at this by streams, by digital song sales, or by album sales.
We had a question about charts and whether there'll be historical charts on the site.
I'm going to let you answer that, Paul T.
Is coming. So we will be backloading more historical charts in the upcoming month or so, as well as more historical data around the dashboards as well for North America to reflect what the ATD number used to be in Music Connect. So that will be coming.
More questions or no?
We still are getting more questions um, around DSP level data, and I know you asked that.
Sure.
Um,
You want me to
I
repeat?
don't think we've got any additional questions.
Okay. If you have a question, feel free to type it in the question box, and we will try to answer it live. And if we don't get to it live today, you can always reach out to me, Paul or Lisa, if you don't mind putting my email address in the chat. That would be awesome. About DSP breakout, um, we are only allowed to share DSP breakout with content owners. So we have first party data. That means we have an agreement with all of the DSPs to send us their data every single day. We have over 500 data providers here in Connect. Part of those agreements say that we can only share DSP breakout with content owners. So we have some limitations around that. Doable. And if you're already a client and that's something you're curious about, please reach out.
We had a question about favorites. We used to have a favorites tab in Music Connect. Will we have that in Connect? I can tell you that, yes, we are building out a new um, favorites tab. Will be called something different, but we're looking at that hopefully early second quarter. So that is coming.
That's coming soon. That's a very, very, very high priority. So this is not done. Our intention here is to keep updating Connect all the time and keep innovating. So lots more fun things coming to Connect. Thank you guys very much for spending some time with us. If you need a deeper demo, please reach out. We definitely have a full support team here to help you. If you're not already a client, reach out. We'd love for you to become one. And thank you very much for spending some time with us today. Thank you, Paul. Have a great day.